the 5 worst evening snacks for blood sugar, especially after 60. And if one of them happens to be your favorite, don't worry. By the end of this video you'll have a simple swap that keeps your glucose calm and your sleep peaceful. Imagine lying down tonight and your body actually relaxing. No buzzing brain, no midnight thirst. Number 3, wake up because your heart is thumping after a hidden sugar spike. If that sounds good, stay with me. We're going to make your nights quieter, your mornings steadier, and your energy more predictable, just by changing what you reach for after dinner. Before we count down the 5 worst evening snacks, let me give you a promise and some context, because this will make everything click. First, the promise. You will walk away with clear, practical swaps you can use tonight. Second, the context. Glucose tends to climb more at night for 2 big reasons. 1, your body's sensitivity to insulin is naturally lower after dark. This is a normal circadian pattern. During the day, you're primed to use fuel. At night, you're primed to rest, repair, and store. So the same snack that produces a small bump at noon can create a bigger wave at 9 p.m. 2, you move less at night. Even a slow stroll after lunch helps muscles soak up glucose. But after dinner, most of us sit or lie down. Less muscle activity means more glucose floating around, which means a larger spike and often a longer tail. Add a few more factors that tend to show up after 60, like less muscle mass, slower stomach emptying in some people, medications that change appetite, and sometimes disrupted sleep, and you have the perfect storm for a late-night blood sugar roller coaster. Now, what exactly will we do? We'll deliver a simple ranking of the 5 worst evening snacks, the metabolic why behind each one, and immediate swaps that you can use today. I'll also give you a quick 60+ rule for judging any snack in seconds, a 7-day plan you can follow step by step, and a tiny bedtime routine to keep your numbers and your sleep calm. I'll even bust a few myths along the way, because some of the snacks that look light or healthy are actually the ones that cause the biggest overnight mischief. Let's lock in a quick rule for anyone 60 and older on how to evaluate an evening snack. This is the 10-second check. Avoid snacks that are fast, liquid, fiber-free, very sweet, or white. Fast means the body can break it down quickly. Powders, flakes, sugars, refined starches. Liquid means it zooms straight through your stomach. Juices and sweet drinks send sugar in like a fire hose. Fiber-free means there's nothing to slow absorption, so think refined flour, puffed grains, or peeled fruit with no seeds, skin, or crunch. Very sweet is obvious. Foods with syrups, honey, or lots of added sugars. And white generally means refined. White bread, white crackers, white rice cakes, white flour baked goods. What should you prefer? A small portion paired with a protein, fiber, or healthy fat. That pairing is like putting a speed bump on your glucose road. It slows the rise, flattens the curve, and helps you feel satisfied without the rebound hunger 2 hours later. A small portion plus protein or fiber or fat. Say it out loud with me. Small portion paired. That simple rule will save you again and again when you're standing in front of the pantry at 9:30 p.m. Now let's count them down from number 5 to number 1, with the immediate swaps after each one. Number 5 is sweet popcorn, rice cakes, donut holes, and the so-called fit corn or rice snacks. I'm grouping these together for a reason. They're all airy, crunchy, easy to overeat, and built from refined grains. The problem here is a combination of a high glycemic index, infinite portion potential, and sneaky but common added sugars or syrup sprays that cling to the puffs. Popcorn can be a decent snack if it's air-popped, portioned, and dressed with something that slows absorption. But sweet popcorn, kettle corn, caramel corn, chocolate-drizzled popcorn? That's dessert wearing a sweater. Rice cakes and many corn puffs look virtuous because they're low in calories per piece, but the body treats those puffed starches like dry tinder. They ignite quickly. The grain structure has been blasted open, so your enzymes have a giant surface area to work on. The result is rapid absorption. At night, when your insulin sensitivity is lower, this quick rise can be even more dramatic. It gets worse because the portion is bottomless. You don't feel the same fullness signals you would with a heavier, protein-rich food. So you end up with a spike, a crash, and then a quiet drive to the kitchen an hour later because your brain thinks, "We're low now, go get more." That rebound hunger is what ruins sleep. It's not dramatic. It's a whisper that pulls you out of deep sleep to look for a handful of something else. Here's the fix. Either turn popcorn into a slow snack or switch the category entirely. If you love popcorn, air pop one single cup, measure it into a bowl, not the bag, and toss it with a drizzle of olive oil and herbs like rosemary, thyme, or smoked paprika, plus a pinch of salt. The fat from the oil adds a speed bump. The herbs make it satisfying so you don't keep chasing flavor with more volume. One measured cup. Not the big bowl, not the whole bag. Another great swap is a small handful of mixed nuts paired with a low-sugar fruit. Think a small serving of strawberries or a sliced kiwi. Nuts offer healthy fats, some protein, and fiber. Berries add a little sweetness with fiber and water that slow things down. If you're a rice cake person, you can rescue them by using just one cake and putting something on top that has fat or protein. Say, a smear of tahini and some cinnamon, or a slice of turkey and a few avocado slices, so you get the crunch without the glucose surge. But for most of us, when it's late and willpower is thin, the simplest solution is to keep those airy puffs for daytime or skip them entirely at night. Let me pause and show you how this plays out in real life. Imagine Marta, 67, who swears she's not a big eater after dinner. She makes tea, grabs just a few handfuls of kettle corn, and sits down to her favorite show. By episode 2, the popcorn is gone. She brushes her teeth and goes to bed. At 2:15 a.m., she wakes up dry-mouthed and hot. She drinks water, uses the bathroom, and then struggles to fall back asleep. In the morning, she checks her glucose. It's higher than usual. She doesn't connect it to the popcorn because it felt light. But if we followed her glucose curve, we'd see a quick climb after the popcorn, a slow descent, and then, during sleep, a subtle trough that triggers alertness and a bathroom trip, followed by a rebound. For Marta, switching to a measured cup of air-popped popcorn with olive oil and herbs, or to a handful of almonds with a few strawberries, shrunk that spike by half and kept the night quiet. Same person, same couch, different snack, different night. Number 4 is sweetened yogurt, apple pie, dairy desserts, and those light ice creams. The issue here is a combo plate of sugar, lactose, and thickeners that can create a long, wide glucose curve. Think of a curve not just as how high it goes, but how long it hangs around. Sweetened yogurts can look innocent with words like fruit on the bottom or vanilla bean. But many of them have as much sugar as a dessert, especially when you count lactose, which is milk sugar. Light ice creams may drop the fat but often add sugar alcohols, or starches to hold the texture, ingredients that can play tricks with your digestion. Apple pie adds refined flour plus sugar plus fruit in a soft, fast-absorbing package. That's why you can feel simultaneously stuffed and oddly hungry an hour later. The evening makes this more troublesome because of reflux. When you lie down with a stomach full of sweet, creamy, and sometimes gummy texture, you're more likely to get acid creeping upward. That discomfort disrupts sleep, and disrupted sleep tends to impair insulin sensitivity the next day. It's a loop you don't want. Here's the swap that saves dessert lovers everywhere. Plain Greek yogurt, full fat or 2% if your overall diet allows it, with chia or ground flax and a dusting of cinnamon. If you need sweetness, add a few berries or a touch of stevia. The Greek yogurt gives you protein that satisfies without spiking. The chia or flax adds fiber and healthy fat to slow the digestive roll. Cinnamon adds aroma and the sense of sweetness without sugar. If you crave cold and creamy, try cottage cheese blended smooth with a splash of vanilla and a few frozen raspberries folded in. You get the dessert feeling with a calm glucose curve. For apple pie cravings, a trick I love is warming thin apple slices in a pan with a pat of butter or a drizzle of olive oil, lots of cinnamon, and a pinch of salt. Cook until the edges caramelize, then finish with a spoon of chopped walnuts. You get that apple pie aroma and flavor, but the nuts and the fat slow down the absorption. The portion is the key, always. A teacup of yogurt with chia is very different from a cereal bowl. At night, think teacup, not mixing bowl. Let's talk briefly about why yogurt choice matters. Plain Greek yogurt is strained, so you get more protein and less lactose per spoonful. Protein helps signal fullness to the brain and provides a gentler, flatter glucose response. Sweetened yogurt usually brings a mix of lactose plus added cane sugar or fruit purees. That combo can create a higher peak and a longer tail. And the word light on a carton doesn't guarantee a gentle glucose curve. It often just means the fat was replaced with something else. Remember our rule: avoid fast, liquid, fiber-free, very sweet, or white. Sweet, creamy desserts check too many of those boxes at once. Save the ice cream for earlier in the day if you want it, and choose the lower sugar, higher protein options when you do. Number 3 is sweet breakfast cereal, sugary granola, and cereal bars that look wholesome but act like candy. The culprit here is extrusion and syrup. Those classic flakes and loops are made by intense heat and pressure that changes the starch structure, making it easy to break down. Add syrups, brown rice syrup, agave, honey, glucose syrup, and you have sugar in and on top of quickly absorbed starch. Granola can be even sneakier because it looks rugged and healthy. Some granolas are fine, but many are desserts in disguise, with sweeteners and oils that push the calories high while keeping the fiber low. Cereal bars? Often just pressed granola with a fruit glue. What happens at night when you eat these? You get a quiet, almost polite glucose spike that you don't feel immediately. No sugar rush fireworks, but enough to nudge your body into restless sleep. You may wake up around 3 a.m. with a dry mouth or need to use the bathroom. That's your body managing the load you sent in earlier. The fix is delicious and simple. Instead of flakes and syrup, go for thick-cut oats that you soak for a few minutes or overnight, then pair with plain yogurt and a few chopped nuts. The oats provide fiber and something to chew. The yogurt gives protein. The nuts add fat and crunch. Together, they provide satisfaction, not a spike. If you want a toast option, choose a true whole grain sourdough slice and top it with ricotta. The fermentation in sourdough changes the starches a bit and can make it gentler on blood sugar for some people. Ricotta is soft, creamy, and protein-rich. Add a sprinkle of cinnamon or a few crushed raspberries for flavor without a sugar flood. And if you must have a bar on hand for emergencies, read the label. Aim for a bar with more fiber than sugar, at least 8 to 12 grams of protein, and fewer than 10 grams of total sugar. At night, even half a bar paired with a few nuts is better than a whole candy-like bar by itself. I want to add a small point about thirst and nighttime waking, because many people blame age alone. Yes, our thirst cues change as we get older, And yes, the bladder can wake you. But a high or swinging glucose curve pulls water, and the body compensates by making you thirsty and sending you to the bathroom. This is why the cereal and granola snacks that feel light can quietly disrupt your night. When one of my clients, Richard, a 72-year-old retired teacher, swapped his evening granola bowl for a small ricotta on sourdough with some crushed raspberries, he didn't just see steadier morning glucose. He stopped waking up at 3:30 with a dry mouth. It wasn't magic. It was the way his body preferred slower fuel and a smaller portion at night. Number 2 is cookies, white bread or toast with jam, and the homemade cake that looks innocent because it came from your own oven. The backbone here is refined flour and sugar with almost no fiber or protein. The flour turns to glucose quickly. The sugar adds a second lane of traffic, and there's nothing to slow it down. This combo at night pushes you into a spike and sets you up for hunger 2 or 3 hours later. You know that feeling where you wake up and you're not starving, but you're definitely thinking about food? Or you get up to use the bathroom and then your stomach says, "Since we're up, let's have a bite." That's the pairing of a fast snack and a nighttime body. The swap here is tried and true. A small apple with 1 tablespoon of peanut butter and cinnamon. The apple gives fiber and water. The skin adds even more fiber. The peanut butter adds fat and a little protein. The cinnamon gives flavor and the perception of sweetness. And the tablespoon is not a joke. An overflowing spoon can easily turn into a few hundred extra calories at night, which isn't great for sleep or glucose. If you prefer savory, scramble 1 egg, just 1, in a small pan. Pair it with half a slice of real whole grain bread or a few cherry tomatoes and a sprinkle of feta. It's fast, warm, and satisfying without the sugar rush. If you love jam, use a very thin smear or try mashed raspberries on your toast instead. You'll get the fruit flavor without a flood of added sugar. One more trick. For cake cravings, warm a few frozen cherries or blueberries in a small bowl and top with a scoop of plain Greek yogurt and some chopped almonds. You get the sweet and creamy and a spoon to hold, but the structure of the snack is protein plus fiber plus fat. That's the trio that encourages your glucose to stay in its lane. I want to speak directly to the homemade equals healthy idea because it's powerful. Homemade is wonderful for control and quality, but flour and sugar act the same in your bloodstream whether you creamed the butter yourself or bought the cookie in a store. If an evening cake slice is one of your joys, try moving it earlier in the day when your insulin sensitivity is higher, and then, at night, switch to one of the protein-fiber pairings. This way you don't feel deprived, and your nights get calmer. The goal isn't to remove pleasure. The goal is to move pleasure to the time of day your body handles it best, and to choose nighttime snacks that help you sleep deeply and wake up steady. And now, number 1. The worst evening snack for blood sugar after 60 is natural juice, fruit-only smoothies, and fruit by itself at night. I know this one surprises people because fruit is wholesome, but at night, liquid sugar or unpaired fruit is the perfect setup for a quick glucose rise. When you juice fruit, you remove the fiber and concentrate the sugar. Without fiber, the absorption is fast. A fruit-only smoothie can be similar, especially if it's made with lots of bananas, mango, or sweetened yogurts and juices. Even a bowl of fruit alone can cause a sharp rise if it's a large portion and you're sensitive. You may feel clean and light when you eat it, but an hour or 2 later you can get micro-awakenings, leg cramps in some people, and a restless brain that just won't settle. That's the speed of the sugar talking. The fix is non-negotiable. Pair fruit with protein or fat and keep it modest. Strawberries with cottage cheese are a classic. My favorite calming smoothie for the evening is kefir blended with half a cup of mixed berries and a spoon of chia seeds. The kefir gives you protein and probiotics. The berries offer flavor with fewer sugars. The chia provides fiber and a gel that literally slows the exit of the smoothie from your stomach. If you don't do dairy, try a small handful of walnuts with a few slices of pear. Or a piece of cheese with a few grapes. Or, if you're set on a smoothie, reduce the fruit, add a thickening fiber like ground flax, include a plain protein base, and pour it into a small glass. The portion matters more than you think. A pint-sized smoothie is very different from a small teacup. At night, think teacup. When one of my viewers cut her 16-ounce fruit smoothie down to an 8-ounce kefir berry chia blend, her wearable data showed fewer nighttime awakenings and a calmer heart rate. She felt the change within 2 nights. Your body wants calm at night. Give it calm fuel. Let's talk about bonus saboteurs, the ones that sneak in and ruin your beautiful plan. Alcohol plus refined snacks is a classic combo, like wine with crackers or chips. Alcohol can make your glucose drop initially because your liver is busy processing it and delays releasing glucose. That drop can create a rebound later, and it destabilizes sleep. Pair it with refined snacks and you get a seesaw. If you enjoy a drink, have it with dinner rather than as a late-night add-on. Take it slowly and skip the refined nibbles. Choose olives, a few nuts, or cucumber slices with a bit of hummus if you need something to munch. The other sneaky saboteur is dried fruit by the handful, dates, raisins, apricots. Dried fruit concentrates sugar in a tiny package. It's fine in measured amounts and with a partner, not fine by the handful. If you love it, use 1 measured tablespoon and mix it with nuts so you're not eating pure sweetness. The nuts are the breaks. Now I want to give you a micro-routine that prevents glucose peaks at night. It's short and effective. Aim to finish dinner 2 to 3 hours before you lie down. This gives your stomach time to do its main work while you're upright. If you need a snack, use the pairing rule and keep it small. After dinner, take a gentle 10 to 15-minute walk. Nothing fancy. Just enough to let your big leg and hip muscles act like a sponge, soaking up glucose. If walking isn't comfortable at night, do a bit of seated marching, leg extensions, or some light housework. Fold laundry, tidy the kitchen. That simple movement is a secret weapon. Spread your hydration through the day so you're not drinking liters at night. A few sips are fine if you're thirsty, but don't flood your bladder before bed. Dim the lights an hour before sleep and, if you can, put the kitchen officially closed 30 minutes before bedtime. That signal helps your brain decide we're done with food for the day. Let's put this into a practical 7-day plan you can apply immediately. Day 1 and 2, remove juice and fruit-only smoothies from the evening. Replace them with fruit plus protein, like strawberries and cottage cheese or a kefir berry chia mini smoothie. Notice how your sleep feels. Day 3 and 4, swap cookies or white toast with jam for real whole grain sourdough with ricotta, or go with the small apple plus 1 tablespoon of peanut butter and cinnamon. Keep asking yourself, small portion, paired. Day 5, replace sweet cereal or granola with thick oats soaked and mixed with plain yogurt and a few chopped nuts. Or try half a slice of sourdough with ricotta if you prefer warm food. Day 6, reduce corn or rice puff snacks. If you have them, use a fixed portion and pair with nuts. Or skip them entirely in the evening and choose the measured air-popped popcorn with olive oil and herbs. Day 7, review your sleep and your nighttime hunger. Choose 2 evening snacks you genuinely like, that fit the pairing rule, and make them your default options. Decide before the evening starts so you don't have to negotiate with yourself when you're tired. This simple plan creates momentum. By the end of the week, most people feel a clear difference in nighttime peace. Let's talk about common errors that keep glucose high at night. The first is the little phrase, "It's just a tiny bit," repeated 15 times. A tiny bit of kettle corn, a tiny bit of juice, a tiny cookie, a tiny granola bar. Those tiny bits add up, and because they're fast and often liquid or fiber-free, they stack the spikes. The second error is sweetening your nighttime tea or coffee. Even a spoon or two of sugar, honey, or syrup late in the day can tip you into a curve that keeps the night restless. If you love the ritual, switch to cinnamon or vanilla, or use a small splash of milk and skip the sweetener. The third error is eating and lying down immediately. Gravity is not a diet, but it helps. Give your body at least 30 minutes upright after a snack, and ideally 2 to 3 hours after dinner before you lie down. The fourth error is thinking that healthy foods can't disrupt glucose. Granola, dried fruit, fruit juice, rice cakes, and yogurt can all be good choices in the right context, but at night, many of them are too fast. Timing matters. A quick set of safety alerts for those over 60, because your health comes first. If you use insulin or medications like sulfonylureas that increase insulin, you can be at risk for hypoglycemia. Pairing snacks with protein and fat is generally safer than pure carb snacks, but you still need to adjust portions with your health professional's guidance. Don't make big changes without considering how your meds work. If you have reflux or a sensitive stomach, avoid large portions and very fatty meals near bedtime because they can linger and worsen reflux. If you have kidney disease, you may need to moderate potassium and phosphorus depending on your stage and medical advice. Cottage cheese, yogurt, nuts, and certain fruits vary in these minerals, so choose with your clinician's input. If you're lactose intolerant, choose lactose-free dairy or non-dairy alternatives that are unsweetened and pair them as we discussed. If you have nut allergies, swap nuts for seeds like pumpkin or sunflower, or use small amounts of cheese or yogurt if tolerated. The principles are the same: small portion, paired with protein or fat and some fiber whenever possible. Let's bust a few quick myths. Myth 1. Juice is lighter than fruit. For blood sugar, juice is usually worse than whole fruit because the fiber that slows absorption is gone. Myth 2. Granola is always healthy. Many granolas are desserts in disguise, sweet oils, lots of sugar, not much fiber. Myth 3. It doesn't matter what you eat at night because you're going to sleep anyway. In reality, insulin sensitivity is lower at night, and what you choose in the evening affects your sleep and your morning numbers. Myth 4. A fruit smoothie is always a good bedtime option. A fruit-only smoothie can be a glucose rocket at night. A small, protein-rich, fiber-thickened smoothie can be okay, but the portion and the pairing are essential. Myth 5. Homemade cakes and cookies are less disruptive. They can taste better and be made with better ingredients. But for glucose, refined flour and sugar act the same whether store-bought or homemade. Now, because you asked for deep detail, let's zoom in on the metabolic why for each of these nighttime patterns so you can see what's happening under the hood. Imagine your bloodstream as a river and your cells as towns along the banks. During the day, the towns have lots of workers out, your muscles moving, your brain engaged, hormones tuned to daytime rhythms. So when boats of glucose float by, the workers unload them efficiently. At night, fewer workers are out. The boats come by, but there's less demand. The pancreas still sends insulin, the key to allow glucose into cells, but the locks, your receptor sensitivity, are a little stiffer. So the river level rises more easily, and it takes longer to come down. If the boats are small and steady, the river handles it. If you send a fleet all at once, juice, sweets, refined starches, the water surges. If you then lie down, less gravity helps with the stomach emptying, so the rise can feel sudden and the digestion incomplete, sometimes causing reflux. When you pair carbs with protein and fat, you slow stomach emptying in a controlled way. The boats arrive more slowly, and even at night the towns can keep up. This is the essence of the pairing principle and why it works so well. A word about fiber and texture. Fiber is structure. Crunch, chew, and intact grains signal your body to release fuel more slowly. A pear with skin is different from pear juice. Thick oats are different from extruded flakes. A handful of whole nuts is different from nut flour baked into a cookie. When we simplify language, we often say sugar, but we really mean the speed of the carbohydrates plus the context. What else is present, what time of day it is, and what your body is doing. After 60, many people have a bit less lean muscle and a bit more insulin resistance, even when they're careful with diet. That's why walking after dinner works so well. It turns on your muscle sync so glucose has somewhere to go. Think of that short walk as a free medicine with no side effects other than a calmer mind and better sleep. Let's return to our top 5 and make sure the swaps are tattooed in your mind, because knowing the replacements is more important than knowing the rules. 4 sweet popcorn and puffed corn or rice snacks. Your replacements are measured air-popped popcorn with olive oil and herbs, or a small handful of nuts plus a low-sugar fruit like strawberries or kiwi. 4 sweetened yogurt, apple pie, dairy desserts, and light ice cream. Your replacement is plain Greek yogurt with chia or ground flax and cinnamon, optionally sweetened with a little stevia or a few berries. 4 sugary cereal, granola, and cereal bars. Your replacement is thick oats soaked and paired with plain yogurt and nuts, or a true whole grain sourdough toast with ricotta. For cookies, white toast with jam, and homemade cake, your replacement is a small apple with 1 tablespoon of peanut butter and cinnamon, or a quick scrambled egg with half a slice of real whole grain bread. And for juice, fruit-only smoothies, and fruit alone at night, your replacement is fruit plus protein, strawberries with cottage cheese, or kefir with half a cup of berries and chia in a small glass. I want to help you personalize this even more, because the best snack is the one you enjoy and will actually use. So let's build a menu you can rotate. If you lean sweet, choose from cinnamon Greek yogurt with chia and a few raspberries, sliced apple with peanut butter, berries with cottage cheese, warm cinnamon apples in a pan with chopped walnuts, half a slice of sourdough with ricotta and crushed raspberries. If you lean savory, choose from 1 scrambled egg with cherry tomatoes and a sprinkle of feta, cucumber slices with hummus and a few olives, a small portion of air-popped popcorn with olive oil and herbs, a rice cake topped with tahini and sesame seeds if you truly need that crunch, but keep it to 1 and add a protein next to it. Create 2 go-to options and stock your kitchen accordingly. Put them in front, within easy reach, and tuck the other stuff out of sight. We are all human. At 9:30 p.m., when you are tired, you will eat what is in front of you. Let me give you 3 stories that bring this to life. Story 1. David, 69, loved his evening fruit smoothie. Banana, apple juice, frozen mango, and a scoop of light ice cream. It felt fresh and healthy. He also woke up every night at 3 a.m. when he switched to a small kefir berry chia smoothie and moved the fruit-heavy smoothie to a mid-morning treat once or twice a week. His 3 a.m. wake-ups dropped dramatically. He didn't change his lunch. He didn't start a new exercise plan. He changed one nighttime habit and got his deep sleep back. Story 2. Elena, 74, swore she ate almost nothing at night, just a handful of kettle corn while reading. But her handfuls added up, because that bag lives in a bottomless category. When she measured 1 cup, drizzled with olive oil and herbs, and drank a small glass of water with it, she felt satisfied and stayed asleep. Story 3. Cameron, 63, loved cookies and tea while watching the news. He told himself he'd cut down to only 2 cookies, but 2 became sometimes 3, sometimes 4. The solution for him was not willpower, it was a different ritual. He made cinnamon yogurt with chia and put it in a pretty teacup, sipped his tea unsweetened, and let his brain enjoy the spoon and the scent. He missed the cookies for about 4 nights, then stopped thinking about them. His morning numbers came down, and his evenings felt less like a fight. Sometimes the biggest obstacle is not knowledge, it's mood. Nighttime can feel lonely or empty, and snacks fill that gap. So let me offer you a comfort technique that doesn't mention food. 10 minutes before your planned bedtime, do a slow breath pattern. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. Do that 12 times. Then wash your hands in warm water, not hot. Massage your hands gently, and close the kitchen. That small ritual helps your nervous system downshift. You're not saying no to food, you're saying yes to rest. Paired with the right snack earlier in the evening, it can transform how you sleep. Let's go even deeper on portion sizes because they are everything at night. For nuts, a small handful is about 10 to 14 almonds or a similar amount of walnuts or pecans. For yogurt, think half a cup of plain Greek yogurt in a teacup, not a cereal bowl. For berries, half a cup gives you color and sweetness without a sugar wave. For popcorn, 1 measured cup when air popped is a reasonable evening portion. If you are especially sensitive to carbs, skip popcorn at night and choose a protein-based snack instead. For peanut butter or nut butter, 1 tablespoon is enough. Put it in a spoon and put the jar away. For sourdough, half a small slice if you're very sensitive, a small slice if you tolerate it, paired with ricotta or another protein. For kefir smoothies, 8 ounces is a night portion. These numbers are not meant to imprison you. They are meant to anchor you. At night, your body wants calm and predictability. Small and paired gives it that. If you live with someone or you're a caregiver, you can make this easier for both of you by preparing a night box in the fridge, a small container of Greek yogurt with chia and cinnamon already mixed, a baggie with 10 almonds, a small container with sliced strawberries, and a hard-boiled egg. Label them for night. You'll reduce decision fatigue and prevent the minute that wrecks the plan, standing at the open fridge, staring, and then giving up. I want to acknowledge special cases too, because you're not a lab rat, you're a person. If you are underweight or struggling to keep weight on, the evening can be a useful time to add calories, but do it with the paired principle. Choose calorie-dense, nutrient-rich foods like full-fat Greek yogurt, nut butters in measured amounts, cottage cheese with olive oil and herbs, avocado slices with a little lemon and salt, or chia pudding made with unsweetened milk. If you are trying to reduce reflux, keep portions small and avoid lying down for at least an hour after eating. If thirst wakes you, shift your daytime hydration earlier and try a few sips of water with a pinch of salt and a squeeze of lemon after dinner to encourage steady hydration without flooding. Let's touch on gentle movement after dinner, because it's so powerful. We picture exercise as sweat and strain, but for glucose control, especially at night, movement means the door is open for glucose to enter muscles without needing as much insulin. 10 to 15 minutes of slow walking is enough. If you can't go outside, put on a song and march in place. Do kitchen tai chi, walk the hallway back and forth 5 times. If you prefer a chair, do seated leg extensions and heel raises while pointing and flexing your toes. This is not about burning calories. It's about inviting your muscles to drink glucose. One of my favorite tricks is to set a timer for 10 minutes after you put the dishes away and call it gentle glide. It's a glide, not a workout. The effect on nighttime glucose is surprisingly big. Now let's revisit the 7-day plan with more richness so you can imagine each day clearly. On day 1, tonight, you remove juice and fruit-only smoothies from the evening. If juice is part of your wind down, pour a tiny splash into sparkling water earlier with dinner and call it done. After dinner, make a small kefir berry chia blend or a bowl of cottage cheese with strawberries. Breathe. Day 2, you repeat that and notice your sleep. Maybe you keep a simple note in a notebook. What you ate, when you stopped, how many times you woke, how you felt in the morning. On day 3, you say goodbye to late cookies and white toast with jam. You create your replacement ritual, the apple with peanut butter and cinnamon or the scrambled egg. If the idea of no jam feels sad, make a small bowl of mashed raspberries and use a smear on your sourdough earlier in the day instead. On day 4, you repeat and make it easier. Pre-slice the apple, pre-portion the peanut butter in a spoon, and close the kitchen after. Day 5, you rebuild your granola habit from the ground up. Thick oats soaked in water for 10 minutes or overnight, mixed with plain Greek yogurt and a few chopped nuts. If you need a bit of sweetness, slice 2 or 3 strawberries on top. A few, not a mountain. On day 6, you declare the corn and rice puffs day snacks only. If they live in your house, move them to a high shelf and put a measuring cup next to them. If you have them at night, measure a cup, drizzle olive oil and herbs, and eat them with a small glass of water. On day 7, you sit with your notebook and choose the 2 night snacks you actually enjoyed that gave you calm sleep. Maybe it's yogurt with chia and berries. Maybe it's the apple with peanut butter. Maybe it's cottage cheese with strawberries. Maybe it's the egg and tomatoes. You write them on a sticky note and put it on the fridge. Night snacks, small and paired. That note isn't a rule. It's a gift from you to your future self at 9:30 p.m. when decision fatigue hits. A fun trick you can add is what I call the tea pause. Brew a cinnamon tea, ginger tea, or chamomile about an hour after dinner. If you drink it unsweetened, it gives your mouth and your brain the signal that the kitchen is closed. If you always sweeten tea or coffee at night, I encourage you to stop for 1 week and see how your sleep changes. Many people find they don't miss it after day 3. Part of what we love about a sweet drink at night is the scent and warmth. Keep the scent and warmth. Skip the sugar. Now, if your evenings are already good and you're just fine-tuning, here are a few advanced little tweaks. If you wear a ring or watch that tracks sleep, compare nights with and without late snacks. Many people find their heart rate drops earlier, their deep sleep increases, and their nights feel cooler when they stop late snacks or choose the paired, small options. If you don't track anything, pay attention to 3 things: how often you wake, how thirsty you feel during the night, and how you feel 30 minutes after waking. If you wake fewer times, feel less thirsty, and don't feel a craving for something sweet immediately, you're on the right path. Another tweak is light. Bright kitchen lights keep your brain on day mode. Dim them early, and if you can, do your evening snack prep in softer light. Your hormones notice. Another is temperature. A slightly cooler bedroom helps glue your sleep. Sugar swings make you feel hot. When you flatten those swings, you often feel more comfortable in bed. I also want to speak to the emotional side of change for a moment. The late-night cookie is sometimes not about hunger. It's about reward. You made it through the day, now you want a treat. That is human. The way forward isn't to remove treats. It's to reposition them. Put treats earlier in the day a few times a week when your body uses them better, and at night, upgrade your treat to something that still feels like care. A pretty teacup of cinnamon yogurt, a small bowl with strawberries and cottage cheese, a warm pan of spiced apples, or the savory calm of an egg and tomatoes. Treat yourself with sleep. That is a treat that keeps giving back. Better mood, steadier appetite, clearer thinking. This is not about being good, it's about being kind to your future self. Because you're over 60, I want to give you 2 extra supports that make a difference. First, protein timing. Many people don't get enough protein earlier in the day, making them snack hungry at night. If you increase your protein at breakfast and lunch, even by a little, your evening desire for quick carbs often drops. Second, muscle maintenance. Simple strength work during the week maintains the very tissue that uses glucose smoothly. Chair squats, wall push-ups, light dumbbell curls, or resistance band rows 3 times a week are enough to change how your body handles the same snack at night. You don't need a gym, you need consistency. Your muscles are not just for lifting, they're your glucose stabilizers. For those of you on medications that change appetite or slow stomach emptying, the sensation of fullness may show up differently. The answer is to keep portions small, chew thoroughly, and avoid lying down soon after eating. If your meds increase the risk of lows, the paired snack can actually protect you from a drop during the night. But always coordinate with your healthcare team when you change patterns. They can help you adjust doses if needed. The goal here is not to be perfect, it's to be steady. A small, paired snack beats a big, fast one every time. Let me return to a thought I love. Structure is kindness. Your nighttime body craves a little structure. Dinner 2 to 3 hours before bed. A gentle glide of movement. Hydration distributed earlier. Lights dimmed. Kitchen closed. If you truly need a snack, choose small and paired. That structure is not a prison. It's the scaffolding that holds your beautiful sleep in place. Just to cement the 5 worst evening snacks in your mind, here's how to remember them without a list. Picture a nighttime pantry sorted by speed. On the fastest shelf sit the liquids and the airy whites. Juice, fruit-only smoothies, rice cakes, puffed corn, sweet popcorn. On the next shelf sit the creamy sweets, sweetened yogurt, light ice cream, apple pie slices. On the third shelf sit the flakes and bars, sugary cereals, granolas, cereal bars. And hovering nearby like friendly saboteurs are the cookies, white toast with jam, and homemade cake. The rule is simple. If it is fast, liquid, fiber-free, very sweet, or white, it belongs to the day, not the night. If you love it, move it earlier and enjoy it fully. At night, choose small and paired. If you're thinking, will I have to do this forever? The answer is you get to. Because after a week or 2, your body will sell you on it. You'll sleep more deeply, wake up less thirsty, and feel less pulled to the kitchen at strange hours. Your morning numbers will be friendlier. Your mood will be steadier. And you'll have the pleasure of being in charge of your nights again. Before we close, I want to give you a set of tiny phrases to keep in your pocket. These are your nighttime anchors. Small and paired. Teacup, not bowl. Fruit with a friend. Walk the hallway. Kitchen closed. Sweetness earlier. Structure is kindness. If one of those resonates, write it on a sticky note and put it where you'll see it when the sun goes down. I also want to honor cultural traditions, because our favorite evening snacks often come from family and memory. If your tradition is tea with a sweet, keep the tea and move the sweet to earlier. If your tradition is fruit after dinner, pair it. Fruit with cheese or yogurt is common in many cultures for a reason. If your tradition is a nightcap with crackers, have the drink with dinner and switch the crackers for olives or cucumber slices with hummus. You are not turning your back on tradition, you are honoring your body in this season of life. Let me give you a quick troubleshooting guide for common nighttime symptoms. If you wake feeling hot and restless around 2 to 3 a.m., check your evening sugar load. Move juice, fruit-only smoothies, or sweet desserts out of the evening. If you wake to use the bathroom multiple times, look at late liquids and sugar, and move water earlier. If you have heartburn, shrink evening portions and avoid lying down too soon. If you get leg cramps, check hydration and minerals during the day and avoid sugar swings at night. Often the cramps are worsened by glucose ups and downs. If your mouth is dry at night, think sugar and salt. Reduce evening sugar and avoid very salty snacks late. If you wake ravenous at 5 a.m., you may be having a rebound from a late-night spike. Try a small, protein-rich snack earlier in the evening and close the kitchen on time. If you care for someone else, a spouse, a parent, make this a shared project. Choose 2 nighttime snacks you both like. Take the short walk together. Dim the lights together. And celebrate the mornings when you both slept through the night. Wins are more fun shared. We'll end with a simple visualization you can use tonight. See yourself finishing dinner 2 hours before bed. See yourself taking a short, easy walk or doing a few gentle movements. See yourself brewing a cinnamon tea and enjoying it unsweetened. See yourself reaching for a small bowl of Greek yogurt with chia and a few berries, or slicing an apple and measuring 1 tablespoon of peanut butter and dusting cinnamon on top. See yourself eating slowly, with pleasure, then washing the spoon, turning off the kitchen light, and closing the door. See the bedroom dim and cool. See yourself sleeping through the night, and waking with a peaceful body and a clear head. That picture can be real. It starts with one choice, repeated. You now know the 5 worst evening snacks for blood sugar after 60, and more importantly, the easy swaps that keep your glucose calm and your sleep peaceful. If you found this useful, you'll love the next video where we dive even deeper into smart, soothing sips. 7 teas to tame blood sugar today, not tomorrow.